Yo! Video games.
Oh, I just saw a good villain makes the hero. Without the villain, it's kind of dull unless it's a good idea. I don't know. A good hero can make the show, you know what I mean? Or make the movie. If you have a really good villain, unless the hero is just as good, the villain totally overpowers the film. Now, granted, it can still be a good film with just a really good villain and an okay hero. I mean, look at Pirates of the Caribbean. Dark Knight. Dark Knight is a perfect example, actually, yeah. Where the villain is so captivating, they actually added all of his scenes to the film, whether they were important or not. Like, it added over 30 minutes to the film. So it's like, okay. But, what was the one I just said?
Pirates.
Pirates. Barbossa and Jack are both far more captivating than the hero of the story.
Yeah.
And they're both technically villains. Jack is technically a neutral chaotic, but he's still technically not a good guy.
Yeah. I love Barbossa.
Barbossa's fucking fantastic. Every time he's on screen, you know something interesting is going to happen. He's worth watching.
I mean, this is why I'm actually super excited for Pirates 5.
Yeah.
Because Barbossa's in it.
Yeah, well, that's why I went and saw Pirates 4.
Yeah.
Barbossa was the main fucking character. Well,
he was, but he was the best fucking part of that movie.
Well, him and Jack, their relationship is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you want to watch every single conversation they have. Because it's almost like they're brothers that don't see eye to eye on shit.
Pretty much, right?
Like, they're just fucking, brothers. Two brothers. Facing a tornado of giant tomatoes and two giant cats. And they don't have guns. Fucking.
You talking about ball fondlers?
Rick
Whatever
and Morty.
it was called.
No, it's just called Two Brothers.
Two brothers.
Two brothers. But they keep adding shit to it. What does that make Will?
Boring.
Will is the hero. What do you mean?
Buck.
Batman villains have always been more interesting than Bats himself, though. I don't agree. Batman is one of the most interesting superheroes because he might be the only superhero that doesn't actually have superpowers. Granted, he has super money, so I get that. But
super intelligence.
Yeah, but that was kind of added later, wasn't it? Like, he just happened to be a billionaire who trained for all that.
Yeah, he trained for all of it.
But
I think he always started as the world's greatest detective.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's one of the reasons why Green Arrow is so popular. Like, Arrow is popular because he's just a dude who fucking survived on an island until he was ready to come kill shit. But Batman's fairly interesting. Granted, they've played his fucking backstory to death.
Yeah.
Had they not done that, he would still be more interesting. But I agree, when you have villains like the Joker, Batman villains tend to be really good because, again, Batman's pretty much a regular fucking dude. There's tons of money is a fantastic superpower. There's tons of superheroes without money. Sure, but there's not a lot of superheroes that are just regular men. Like, the thing about it is so my buddy Noel loves Superman. And it makes sense why he loves Superman.
Power! He loves power. God's power.
Well, it's not just that he loves power. He loves that Superman is like a shining beacon of absolute truth. Like, he's an absolute. And that is important to Noel. And I can completely understand why that's important to Noel.
Sure.
But Superman doesn't actually have any weaknesses. Kryptonite is his only weakness, and for some reason, even though it is the rarest mineral in the fucking universe, every villain that really poses a threat, except one, has it. Okay? The reason why Lex Luthor was always really interesting against Superman is because Lex Luthor was like his perfect antithesis, Lex Luthor is really brilliant and fights him on all the things that physical power don't matter on. He wages war of, like, public relations and shit. And it's a brilliant idea. It turns people against him. But for the most part, Superman doesn't have any weaknesses. What he does have, same like Captain America, he is like an unwavering Boy Scout. Then you take a guy like Batman.
Whoa,
Batman's a normal dude.
I don't know if you can say Captain America's an unwavering Boy Scout. Some people in chat may be upset about that.
Captain America? That's
I mean Captain America is...
Which Captain America are you
awesome.
talking about? And blah, blah, blah. Captain America is a fucking unwavering Boy Scout. That's why Winter Soldier was so well done.
Yeah.
Because it was basically taking a Superman movie and showing you how Superman could be brought down to our level. Captain America is an unwavering Boy Scout. You don't try to make him dark and gritty. You make the world around him dark and gritty. And, put this Boy Scout who has no place in this type of spy world in there. So, rather than making Superman dark and gritty, which is what they tried to do with, Man of Steel?
Yeah.
They tried to make Superman all dark and gritty. What they should have done is made the world a really fucked up place and left Superman as a Boy Scout who doesn't deal well with gray area. That would have been far more interesting. Ultimate Cap is kind of a dick. Well, I guess I'm referring to Steve Rogers. There's 4 different Captain Americas now?
I don't know. I mean, they're all...
Bucky was a Captain America, fucking...
Yeah, but Ultimate's just kind of like... There's the Ultimate Universe. I mean, he'd still be... Technically,
It'd still be Steve Rogers?
But it's it's that version, that universe retelling of it.
No. Ultimate Steve Rogers, okay. Man of Steel wasn't bad because of Zack Snyder. Man of Steel was bad because Superman doesn't do well in film form. Superman does
basically,
well...
you're saying Superman, you can't make a good Superman film.
Not on a... You can make an entertaining Superman film if you're just there to see Superman kick ass and stuff. What I'm saying is, Superman does really well in comic book form and in novel form, and the reason is... And I mean, on the animated series, he was pretty good. But the reason is inner monologue matters very heavily to him. His conflicts are inner because nothing can really be a conflict for him, outside. So, being you can't blame a director for it being too bad. I just think he chose a direction that was wrong, and then he got showed up by Marvel. But DC is constantly getting shown up by Marvel because they're trying to compete with Marvel on that level. DC shouldn't be competing with Marvel. They should be just trying to do their own fucking thing. I'd be so interested in seeing that Superman Lives movie, though. It'd be so fascinating. Which one Superman Lives?
I don't know.
Which one Superman Lives, Rune B? Is an unwavering Boy Scout Colossus? Colossus is fucking awesome, though, in that movie.
He's a gentleman.
Whoa, you're a beautiful lady.
Whoa.
That's so sweet.
Breakfast is most important meal of the day. It's protein bar. I actually love Colossus in Deadpool.
Oh yeah, no, he's excellent.
Colossus is amazing in Deadpool. So even if you don't like Deadpool, some people, Colossus is amazing in the movie.
Yeah, the thing about Deadpool is if you like Deadpool, you will love the movie.
Yeah.
If you don't really give a shit about Deadpool or you don't like that style of humor, you will fucking hate the movie.
I don't know
because
about
it is non-stop.
Yeah.
It's non-stop. Is it well done on the hero's journey? Yes, I'm actually surprised at how well they followed the hero's journey.
That's what I was saying. I was surprised at how serious...
How much writing they actually did. It wasn't just, bullshit snarkfest. It actually, followed a path, basically. A framework. So it's kind of awesome.
Very nice. Very nice.
The film had a lot of fun jokes. They couldn't afford the rest of the X-Men. Well, actually, there's the thing about the reason why that movie got made was because Hugh Jackman agreed to do another Wolverine movie.
What? That was one of their conditions?
Well, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are really good friends.
Oh.
And they, like, support each other heavily. And you know the joke about Hugh Jackman in the movie?
Yeah.
About how he had to, you know, down under?
Down under.
The thing is Hugh Jackman might have agreed to do a Wolverine movie, the last Wolverine movie, if they went ahead with... And Ryan Reynolds put a bunch of his own money on the line, too.
He's gonna make it all back.
He is now, yeah. It's not a revenge movie. It's a romance. Romance and revenge stories can often take similar
But yeah, you know what? The
paths,
movie
but
just
romance.
kind of, in the weird way, the movie just kind of... Oh, I want to take them. The movie just reminded me in a way how much I really like X-Men, like more than the rest of Marvel, really. Growing up, especially. Like, not movies, because the movies are kind of a crapshoot for X-Men. But I don't know, I always dig the X-Men storylines more, and the characters more. I don't know,
Oh,
I feel it's more interesting.
X-Men is a very political comic, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's super political comic.
Political social commentary, really.
Yeah, it's a social commentary.
But I think it deals with better issues and more human issues more realistically than a lot of the Marvel shit does.
Superman Lives was the movie that Tim Burton was making that had Nicolas Cage's Superman. Oh, shit.
Giant
okay.
enemy spider? Oh, that's right. It was called Superman Lives. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
okay.
No, that movie was going to be trash. Oh, here's a camera place. Yeah. Alright, he won't talk to this because I was a stupid fucking bitch-ass rat. Gary the rat. Shit.
His name's Gary.
Oh man, that movie was gonna be so bad. I don't want any capes. Capes are bullshit. I don't like...
I just wish Marvel could wrestle away the X-Men movie franchise license from Fox. No!
No.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that.
I mean, have you seen Days of Future Past?
Yeah. Here's the other thing. What this means now is that they could possibly continue to make R-rated X-Men films.
Yeah.
That could have Deadpool being a bigger part of these things. If Marvel gets it, no Deadpool movie will ever be made again. Or if it does, it'll be just a watered-down shit show.
It'll be funny. You can make humor work in PG-13. You just gotta use your imagination.
You can make humor work in
Which I believe, but
I
it's like
absolutely
the
agree.
point of that character is...
That is the point of that character. He is a fucking shit show. That's the whole point of him.
Yeah.
Poor push bottle, such a nice boy.
How about Arab? I know. Mooch, you got a reward from Madame Meow Meow. Lucky.
Yeah, no, after this Deadpool movie, they definitely found a new direction. Well, they just showed... Fucking Ryan Reynolds just proved that an R-rated comic book film can work. You just have to make it well. You know, the problem is that every time in the past they made an R-rated comic book film, they felt like, oh, well, we gotta justify the R rating really hard. It's gotta be hard R. And granted, Deadpool is a hard R. I get that. But all the most memorable parts of Deadpool aren't hard R moments.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show if you make a good film, having it hard R doesn't mean it won't make money.
I found a secret seashell. If I collect enough of these, something good is bound to happen.
You're really good at collecting seashells.
I like seashells.
You came back from fucking Bahamas with like 90 of them.
We did. Well, there was one of those trips I came back with a shit ton.
I came back from Spain with a bunch of seashells because they were really fucking cool looking. On the Sun Coast?
I remember the first time I went to the Caribbean for the VGX or VXG, whatever it was, tournament. And I told you this story. There was like this, there was this bay that we were swimming in. And one night, it was kind of like, I think that was last night or maybe second to last night we were there. And we were going out swimming, me and Max, and it's like it's at sunset, right? So it's all like fucking picturesque as fuck.
Yeah.
And I wanted to swim to this. I was like, I wonder if I could swim because basically the beach ended with like this cliff front, right? So these cliffs came out from the end of one beach, and there was this private beach on the other. Fucking dog. Private beach on the other end, and I really wanted to swim to it. And the thing is, we tried to see if we could like find a way in, but like if you went up the road, basically that beach was you couldn't access it by foot because you had to go through a private gated community to get to it. Like,
That's badass.
and like the guard at the gate was like, we asked her, was there any like, you know, on foot access to the beach? Like, no, you have to actually have a, like, you know, a place there. And they're like, you know, you can swim to it. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. And Max is like, dude, that is a lot further than you think. I'm like,
Oh yeah, he's like,
I'm,
you're not young anymore.
they're like, you're not as young as you think you are.
Yeah.
And then I see these two like French guys swimming out, you know, from that end across like, you know, the cliffs, and I'm like, man, if a bunch of fucking Frenchmen can do it, I can fucking do it. So I swam out to the guys. I'm like, hey, you know, how hard is it? He's like, oh, it's no problem. You know, you just, if you got the problem, just look down. There's rocks on the floor. You can stand up. Don't worry if you need to take a breather. It's fine. Go for it. So I did. I didn't actually stop, but my heart was like pounding the whole time as I'm going, because I'm like, oh, should I be doing this? Should I be doing this? And Max like walked up to the top of the cliff to just, you know, keep an eye on me. And he said, once I saw you get halfway there, I just went back down, and I just swam past this cliffside, and got to this private beach,
did it at
which was like,
sunset, though?
yes.
That's not a good idea.
Well,
That's when sharks hunt.
we saw a shark, but it was in the middle of the fucking day. So swam out there, did it, was no problem, and it was really shallow. And I got to that beach, and it was like a little beach, and there was all like these like it was on the, so there were still cliffs on the private beach.
Yeah.
And there's like big spiral staircases going down to it, but there's a little beach in front of the cliff, and there's all like these, you know, carved out like notches in the cliffside, and there were like people that put like wooden platforms like just to
Holy shit,
do shit up.
sunbathe and
And
shit.
yeah, and there were these giant fucking conch shells and all kinds of shells. They were like
Shit.
this big, like literally bigger than basketballs.
Wow.
And people just had a collection of them, and I was like, holy shit. And like, well, I couldn't take one back. I couldn't swim.
I'd have
fucking
done it.
thing.